So, I mean, I don't want to ruffle feathers, I really don't, but what is the evidence that the first century Christians weren't simply a cult? And we've seen in our own century, cults do horrendous things on false beliefs.
Great point. And I think you've got to ask that question, because I think if you don't ask that question, you're setting yourself up to get ripped off in life. Now, when you read the Gospels, what you'll notice is Jesus bends over backwards to teach his followers to ask those questions. For instance, in Matthew chapter 7, verse 15, Jesus says, "Beware of false prophets," the cult leaders. "Beware of false prophets. They come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they're ferocious wolves. By their fruit you will recognize them. A good tree bears good fruit. A bad tree bears bad fruit. Good trees don't bear bad fruit, and bad trees don't bear good fruit. So check them out and never blindly believe, because you will be ripped off." Then in John chapter 7, verse 24, Jesus says, "Stop judging by mere appearances. Make a right judgment." I like that. Don't just judge according to appearances. Get into it. Check out the evidence. Make a right judgment. Secondly, when you read the Gospels, you'll notice there's a brutal honesty about the sins of the guys who wrote those documents, about the sins of the leaders of the first century church, like Peter, who's pictured in the Gospels. He's leading the church, right? And he's pictured in the Gospels as he denied knowing Christ. I am so glad that that kind of honesty and vulnerability is in the Gospels, because it clearly shows me that these are not written by people who say, "Oh, you know me, I got it all together, you know, and maybe you'll be fortunate one day to get it together the way I do." No, these guys are brutally honest about recording the sins, the failures of these eyewitnesses of Christ. That lends tremendous credibility for me in their writings. The same way you've stood up here and said, "Man, I don't claim to know everything." Well, guess what? If you stood here and said, "I know everything," I'd be going, "Hey, you are really out of touch with reality." But no, you gain credibility when you say, "You know, I don't know everything, and I'm searching for truth," and that means you're in touch with reality. You tell me you know everything in biology, or you know everything about, I mean, that's ridiculous.